y'all. Kinsey Schofield here with royal author Valentine Low, one of my favorite guests. I would have you on every day.
That's very kind. I think the audience might get tired of us.
They might, but I'm not so sure. So you wrote this incredible book called Courtiers, and this came after a pretty bombshell piece you wrote where you exposed details about some history that I was completely unaware of, where some of the members of staff at Kensington Palace had felt bullied by Meghan Markle. First of all, how many times have you had to say the word bullied in the last 5 years?
I say it in my sleep now.
What made you confident in pursuing this investigation? Because Harry and Meghan are very litigious, and I think that it was brave of you to pursue this the way you did.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. It was a very important factor, the litigious nature of Harry and Meghan. So I knew my sources. I trusted them. I was able to cross-check various things. I talked to multiple people. I spoke to people at one step removed as well who backed up the story. And I also had sight of various bits of documentary evidence. I can't really go into that, but I saw things which totally backed up the story. I had utter confidence. But I knew all the time that at that time, Meghan was suing the Mail on Sunday.
Yes.
It was a court case which eventually she went on to win. So we knew how litigious she was, and I had many conversations with the Times' chief lawyer, Pierre Osama, and she and my editor at the time, John Witherow, wanted to be absolutely certain we were very strong on our facts. To the extent that we were originally going to run the story on a Saturday, and I thought we were ready to go,
Yeah.
and then the editor at the last minute said it wasn't quite there, which was a moment of great difficulty. A moment of difficulty for me. I was quite upset about that. Also, a difficulty for my sources, who were kind of all ready for the story to come out. Then for it to be delayed, they started wondering, would the story come out at all?
Now, and this is crucial because we're in the lead up to the Oprah Winfrey interview with Harry and Meghan, and we don't know what this interview includes. I mean, I think we're all watching it with our jaws on the floor when it actually lands. But we do know that Harry and Meghan are critical of the British royal family. And was that one of the reasons why your sources wanted to get ahead of this interview? Because they wanted, I don't want to say to defend the British royal family, but maybe they did want to defend the British royal family.
No, it wasn't about that. It was about the fact that if the story had come out after the Oprah interview, it would have just looked like sour grapes. It'd be lost in the noise. But Meghan would come across as this heroine, this person who'd been victimized, the royal family, who'd been treated terribly badly. And the whole narrative would be about what she and Harry said about their experiences with the royal family. And it would just get lost. No one would really care. And the important thing was to get it out beforehand so people would listen to their story, and that they would look at what they claimed in Oprah in that light.
And is it okay to ask you what changes were made between that Saturday and when it actually is published? What were the tweaks or the...
It wasn't so much tweaks as additional verification.
Oh.
Just making sure that everything was watertight. And we saw that because before publication, we put the allegations to Harry and Meghan, and we got a very, very long letter from their lawyers. And then sometime later, we got another slightly less long letter from their lawyers. But basically, being very, very feisty, very strong,
Basically saying, like, watch your back or we'll come
watch
after
out,
you.
yeah, exactly. And then we published, and after that, we didn't hear a word from them.
Radio silence. That speaks volumes. When you first heard about the allegations, were you surprised? Because I do think when Meghan stepped away, when Harry and Meghan stepped away from the royal family, they did a really great job of making the story that they felt unfairly, I almost used the word bully, unfairly treated by the British media. And as an American, I think I had digested that and assumed that it was true. So was there any of that in your mind? Like, well, I really am going to, I'm really going to go over this with a fine-tooth comb because they are going to challenge this based on a narrative they've already started.
Yes, we always knew they would challenge it.
Yeah.
But it kind of follows a familiar pattern. So there had been one or two stories which suggested there were difficult relations between Meghan and her staff. We'd seen them, and the phrase "Dutch is difficult" had already been used. But and we knew Meghan was angry about those stories, and we knew she challenged that narrative. But you look back a few years to the Diana years. Stories had come out sort of hinting that the marriage was in trouble.
Yeah.
But no one knew for certain or the details of it all until Andrew Morton's book came out. And then suddenly, all those tabloid stories, which some people had been very sniffy about, very dismissive of, they suddenly looked at it in a completely new light, and people realized, actually, these were based on truth, or if not, were absolutely copper-bottom truth. Mm-hmm. And that's what happened with the bullying story, my bullying story. People realize that if the Times runs a story like that, Times is a newspaper that people respect, if the Times runs a story like that and doesn't get sued, mm-hmm. there's probably something in it. And suddenly you realize that all those tabloid stories earlier suggesting she might be Dutch is difficult, actually, maybe they're true.
I feel silly acknowledging this, but it is such a great example of journalistic integrity that you gave them multiple chances to respond to it versus, releasing this article and surprising them with it, which I think would have been beneficial to you. And because Meghan does release a statement saying that you're participating in a smear campaign against her. Doesn't she do this prior to it actually coming out?
Yeah, that was in one of the lawyers' letters, that phrase, calling it a calculated smear. You just have to deal with that.
Yeah.
It's we've got broad shoulders. Mm-hmm. We're sure of our facts.
Yeah.
And if that's what she wants to say about it, well, we'll report that too.
It's been so much fun to talk to you. What is the new book called?
The new book, it's about the relationship between the monarchy and the government, and it's called Power in the Palace.
Power in the Palace, and we're going to talk to you about that as soon as it comes out. Valentine Low, thank you so much for your time today. And I know you love this video. Agree with us, disagree with us, let us know in the comments below. Make sure you like, subscribe, and share this video with the biggest Valentine Low fan. Thanks, everyone.